Good morning. It is Wednesday already. I know not already, but kind of, May 13th. Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. Oh my goodness, this is kind of crazy. So we're just getting closer and closer to being done. I know Elsie's doing the countdown for us, so thanks, Elsie, for keeping us on track. But we are getting there, so stay strong till the end. We are almost there. I want to quickly, we're going to do our Bible, obviously, but I want to quickly go over yesterday's page before we do our singing and do all today's stuff. So, page 210. And yesterday we talked about a friend in the family, and who was that friend? Paul's nephew. Yes, and Paul's nephew definitely helped him to save his life when those men, 40 of those men, were against him. So look at number 1. It says the men who plotted to kill Paul were Roman soldiers. That is false. So you should have put an F, and then you should have colored in every other starting with the second. And then what was left over, could you read what it said? Paul, and then apostrophe S, Paul's. Okay. Number 2, Paul's nephew first told Paul about the plot. Sorry. That is true. So you should have colored in every other letter starting with the first one. And then if you did that, then you would have Nephew, nephew. 3, the commander invited Paul's nephew to tell his story. That also was true, and should have had WAS left over in the white, and that was. The commander ordered Paul's nephew to tell the Jews about the plot. That is false. I hope you got that one. And then you colored every other letter starting with the second, so what was left is HIS, his. And then number 5, the commander sent Paul to Jerusalem with more than 400 men. And that also was false. Remember, the commander sent Paul to Caesarea, so that was different. So that was false. And then you should have had FRIEND left over. So the words that you should have had at the bottom, Paul's nephew was his friend. Okay? So hopefully you got that, and that made sense to you. But we're going to go ahead with our work for today. So turn to page 257. We're going to sing our song again, all 3 verses. Let's do that together. What a friend we have in Jesus, all our sins and griefs to bear. What a privilege to carry everything to God in prayer. Oh, what peace we often forfeit. Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. Have we trials and temptations? Is there trouble anywhere? We should never be discouraged. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Can we find a friend so faithful, who will all our sorrows share? Jesus knows our every weakness. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Are we weak and heavy laden, cumbered with a load of care? Precious Savior, still our refuge. Take it to the Lord in prayer. Do thy friends despise, forsake thee? Take it to the Lord in prayer. In his arms he'll take and shield thee. Thou wilt find a solace there. Good singing. Nice job. And we're going to say our verse, Philippians 2:4. Philippians 2:4. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. Philippians 2:4. Good. Try it again. Philippians 2:4. Look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. And what did we say? That meant showing care and concern for others, and not being oh, this is my problem. This is my worry. Sometimes we go to talk to a friend and we just blah, 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 all of the things that we have going wrong. And our friend had a really rough day and had a really rough time, and they're struggling, and they sit and patiently listen to us. And then we're like, okay, well, it's great talking to you. Thanks for being my friend. And we walk away, and we never checked on them. So that's what it's talking about when it's saying not looking on your own things. What can you do for others? How have you shown concern for others around you? Or how have others shown concern for you? So think about that today. Have other people taken the time to show concern for you? And then how have you shown concern for others? Without spending money, without, using and having something that you have to spend money on, buy or whatever, or bother your parents about. How can you show concern for others? What are some ways that you could show concern, maybe by just spending a little bit of money? But just think of, no money. And even if it was just a little bit, what are some things that you could do to show concern for somebody else? We talked about the fact of making a card or giving somebody a call and checking on them. Little things that you can do that can make a difference in somebody else's life. We should think of helping others as kind of our responsibility and our desire, and that's something that I hope will be in your hearts and in your minds. Well, we are going to talk today. It's a shorter story, so lesson. Friends put friends first. So let's find out what this is about. While the Apostle Paul was in Rome, he became concerned about the people of the church at Philippi and wanted to know how they were doing. See, he wasn't thinking of his own self. Remember, he's prisoner, he's kept captive, and, people want to kill him, but he's thinking, I wonder how my church at Philippi is doing. I wonder if they're okay. I wonder if everything's good with them. He couldn't go there because he was under house arrest. Timothy was the only one available that Paul could send to them who would truly care for them without any selfishness. All the others were concerned about themselves. And how sad is that Paul is thinking, who could I send to the church at Philippi to check on them, to make sure that they're good? Who could I send to do that? And all he could think of was one person, Timothy. Everybody else was thinking of themselves, oh, we're here to help you, Church of Philippi, but I'm telling you, it's hard everywhere. Oh, woe is me. We just don't have the means to really help you, but we're going to try. Paul's like, no, that's not going to work. I don't need somebody like that going to the church at Philippi. I need somebody who's selfless, who's going to really be concerned. The Philippians knew Timothy's clear testimony and how he had served with Paul in the gospel, just as a son serves with his father. Paul was hoping to send Timothy soon, expecting that he would bring back encouraging news about them. Paul was also looking forward to being able to go to Philippi himself soon. If he can get out of that house arrest, then he could go. Timothy was a good friend who faithfully served Christ. Epaphroditus was another friend of Paul's. The church of Philippi had sent him to Rome to minister to Paul. While serving Paul, Epaphroditus had become so sick that he almost died. The believers in Philippi heard about his illness and had become quite concerned about their friend. Knowing how concerned they were for him, Epaphroditus was troubled. Paul thought that it would be best to send Epaphroditus back to Philippi to encourage the church. Since Epaphroditus had almost died while serving Christ, Paul spoke highly of him. He told the church to rejoice with Epaphroditus and honor him when he arrived. Both Timothy and Epaphroditus were good friends of Paul's who faithfully served Jesus Christ. So Timothy was a wonderful friend of Paul's, and Paul knew, I can send Timothy to the church of Philippi to check on them without any problems and without it being, all about him. And then Epaphroditus, that's a great name, isn't it? Can you say it? Epaphroditus. Epaphroditus was another friend. And as he's serving, he got so sick, he could have died. And so Paul was thinking, I need to say something great about this man because He just served selflessly and helped in such a great way. So Paul had at least 2 people that he could send to the church at Philippi to check on them. And that's what we need to be. We need to be those friends for somebody else. Who could use you right now as a true, strong friend to help them through some things that they're going through? Why couldn't Paul go to Philippi himself? Right? He was under house arrest. How was Epaphroditus a good friend? He was helping Paul, which is something the church couldn't do at that time. He was a good friend by doing things for Paul that he couldn't do. And then he was an encourager to Paul. Why was the church of Philippi concerned about Epaphroditus? Because they had heard about how sick he was and that he almost died. Let's see. I think that's all I'm going to ask for those. But I hope that that was an encouragement to you. Be a friend to somebody that they can look to and trust and appreciate especially during times like this when things are hard. Don't be a Debbie Downer. That's what the term is. It's a little phrase that says somebody who's always down and thinking all the worst. Don't be a Debbie Downer. Be an encourager, okay? And think of ways that you can help others. So look at page 211, and this is where our verse Philippians 2:4 comes into play. Remember Philippians 2:4, look not every man on his own things, but every man also on the things of others. But there are times when it could be interested, or are you just being nosy and getting your, I want to know what's going on, instead of really being interested about them. So listen, read each paragraph and answer the questions. We're going to do this together, okay? This is just such good stuff. Barry heard Miss Crisp call Will to come see her at recess. He walked closer so that he could hear what she said. So he sees the teacher call his friend over, and then he's walking closer to hear what she says. Then he ran to find Ross and Paul. I just heard Miss Crisp talking to Will about being a good sport. She really let him have it, he told them. Maybe we should pray for Will. Is that why he's telling the story? No, he's telling what happened with Will, I think was the name, right? With Will, because he wants to be the one to say, yeah, guess what I just heard? We should pray for him. Was Barry obeying Philippians 2:4? No, he was not looking on the things of others to be a help. He was looking on the things of others to be nosy. Why or why not? Yeah, he was not being a help. He was gossiping, right? Some of you got that. He was gossiping. He's telling something that should not have been told. That was not his business, and it wasn't his friend's business either. And he should have kept it to himself. Well, he shouldn't have even been over there. I mean, after the teacher called him, he should have walked away and just said, I'm going to help Will when he gets out of talking with the teacher. I'm going to talk to him. We'll have, he could have done something else rather than, I'm going to go tell my friends what I heard. Number 2, while Mr. DeCanio was putting out tests, Laura noticed that Nadine did not have a pencil. She raised her hand and asked if she could lend her one. Was Laura obeying Philippians 2:4? Yes. Why? Because she noticed a friend had a need and she helped. She wasn't going, I noticed that Laura doesn't have a pencil. Could I give her mine since she's not prepared for school? She didn't make a big deal about it. She just said, can I give her a pencil? She needs one. And it wasn't a big deal. She wasn't trying to get recognition for herself. Look at how good I am. No, she was just being a friend, and she was caring for somebody. She noticed a need. That's what we need to do. Notice needs and be there to help. Gregory was doing a great job shoveling the snow from the driveway. He knew that Dad would be surprised and pleased to find it completely cleared. There were not even any piles of snow in the yard because Gregory had tossed every shovelful into the Dickerson's yard. Was Gregory obeying Philippians 2:4? No, because he's shoveling all of their snow into the neighbor's yard. So what's going to happen now? The neighbor is going to have more work to do, but doesn't matter. As long as I did mine, and Dad's going to be so proud of me because it looks good. He might even give me money for it, and I'll be able to get that plane set that I wanted, or that game that I wanted, that video game that I wanted. I did it. I did a good job. No, you were thinking only of yourself because you weren't thinking of all the work that you now put on the Dickerson family, that they were going to have so much more to do. Let's think today, how can you show care and concern for somebody else without just thinking of yourself? I want you to think that through today as you go through the day. Maybe it's helping your mom and dad and not, giving them a hard time about school. Doing your best and figuring things out and listening to these videos and going, Mom, Dad, I can do it. I got this. You do what you need to do, and I'm going to do what I need to do. How can you be a help and think of others today? I hope that you'll think about that. All right. Have a wonderful morning, and I'll see you soon.